The real challenge here in BC and in Vancouver specifically is cost of doing business, rent, property tax.
Chris Lay, the co-owner of Callister Brewing in East Vancouver, says they will not be renewing their 5-year lease after he says their landlord increased the rent by almost 45%.
That's a considerable increase, represents thousands of dollars per month, tens of thousands of dollars per year. Across the city and probably across the country, we've seen rents go up considerably, and unfortunately, we're not immune to that.
Lay says they've been looking for a new place, but so far they haven't had any luck.
But the reality is even going farther out of Vancouver, we're not seeing any particularly better rent.
Besides the increase in operation costs, Lay says there's been a shift in consumer behavior.
With not really an increasing amount of consumers, but those consumers are making different choices with what they want to spend their hard-earned dollars on, we're just seeing a bit of a downturn altogether.
We thought there'd be a rebound after COVID. I think people were generally pent up. They thought there'd be a pent-up demand, and the inflation has just cut the knees out for all these small breweries.
The executive director of the BC Craft Brewers Guild says consumer spending has gone down, which is understandable with the affordability crisis. But he encourages consumers to still support small businesses to keep them from going under.
It is so difficult now with cash flow. We see it at the grocery store, and all the inputs in craft beer have gone through the roof.
The owner of Callister says there are more than a dozen breweries within walking distance here in East Van. And since the pandemic, they just haven't seen the same level of foot traffic in the tasting room.
So the pandemic was a bit of a big shift for us in changing our focus on the business, how we operated, and of course changing over from a tasting room focused brewery to being more into distribution and wholesale.
He says he wants to focus on expanding their non-alcoholic soda line, which has seen about a 50% increase in wholesale.
5-6 years ago, this wasn't an option. You couldn't go out and buy a truly well-made, beautiful soft drink that was made locally.
However, the soda sales haven't been enough to keep the tasting room open. It's closing at the end of this year, but Lay is hopeful that they can find a new place to continue their brewing operation.
I don't think it's the end of craft beer, but I think we're definitely going to see a bit of an adjustment in 2024.
In Vancouver, Angela Bauer, City News.